Modes. Everything you need to know so you don't fail music class in 5 minutes. Modes are related to scales, and they're also scales themselves. In fact, in modern Western classical music, the terms are sometimes used interchangeably, but they're not exactly the same thing. A scale is just a collection of notes ordered by pitch, like the C major scale, which of course starts and ends on C. A mode is best understood as what note of a scale you start on. For instance, this scale is composed of notes from C major, but starts on its second note, D. This is known as a different mode of C major. You could almost think of modes like what would happen if a piano player's chair got moved by accident and their fingers got shifted to a different spot on the keyboard. Because a major scale has 7 unique notes, a major scale has 7 modes, each one with a unique sound and a fancy Greek name. A scale that starts on the second note of a major scale is called Dorian Mode. If it starts on the third note of the scale, it's called Phrygian Mode. The fourth mode is called Lydian, and, not confusingly at all, the fifth is called Mixolydian Mode. The sixth is the Aeolian Mode, and the seventh is the Locrian Mode. Even the regular major scale we started with has a Greek name too. It's known as the Ionian Mode. Notice that every one of these modes uses only notes from the C major scale, which has no sharps or flats. They all use the same key signature. If instead we built the modes off of D major, you'll notice that all these modes still share the same key signature. Each mode has F sharp and C sharp. And it would be the same if we built all the modes off of B flat major. All these modes share the same key signature of B flat and E flat. The names of the modes are one of those things that you'll probably just memorize over time, but here's a mnemonic device to help remember them in the meantime. I don't play loud music after lunch. Though, for many of us, that would be a lie, so maybe. To identify a mode, just count the sharps or flats so you can figure out what the original major key is. Then figure out what note of the major scale the mode starts on. This scale has 3 sharps in it. 3 sharps indicates that the key is A major, and B is the second note of A major. The second mode of a major scale is Dorian, so this is B Dorian. Let's try another one. This scale has 3 flats in it, B flat, E flat, and A flat. 3 flats is E flat major. B flat is the 5th note of E flat major, and the 5th mode of a major scale is Mixolydian, so this is B flat Mixolydian. You may be wondering, why does the starting note matter if it's basically the same scale? What are modes really good for? Well, it's a bit like if you were going for a run. Usually you start your run from home, through the meadow, past the barn, along the river, through downtown, then back home. But if you did a run from work instead, but still follow the same route, you'd still travel the same distance and see all the same stuff, but the experience would be a bit different because you started and ended in a different place. When you do this with a scale, you'll find that modes are an important compositional tool because every mode has its own unique harmonic and melodic character, which can be used to create interesting and expressive melodies. A good exercise to get a sense of each mode's character is to take a familiar melody and transpose it to a variety of modes, and see what each one sounds like. For example, modes are useful tools to describe and build other scales as well. For instance, in Western classical music, minor scales are generally built off of the Aeolian mode, which is also known as the natural minor scale. We can use this mode to build other minor scales like harmonic minor, which has a raised 7th, jazz minor, which has a raised 6th and 7th, and melodic minor, which you could think of as jazz minor on the way up and natural minor on the way down. Similarly, many other scales can be succinctly described as some sort of altered mode. Examples include Locrian natural 2, which has a raised 2nd, Dorian sharp 4, which has a raised 4th, and Lydian dominant, which has the characteristic raised 4th of Lydian and the lowered 7th of Mixolydian. Modes are also incredibly useful in jazz and improvisation because every chord or tonality you might want to improvise over has an associated mode and usually a variety of substitutions, depending on what the improviser is trying to achieve. The concept of a mode can be applied to any type of scale. For instance, this is B flat harmonic minor, but we could also play that scale starting on its 5th note. There isn't a tidy Greek term for this scale, and there are a few names for this scale other than 5th mode harmonic minor, but I like to call it the Murph. We can even use the concept of modes to understand the relationship between the major pentatonic scale and the minor pentatonic scale, both of which are widely used all over the world in a variety of genres. If we extend the scale, we can see that they're made up of the same notes but have different starting points, so they're really just modes of each other. Modes as a concept are pretty simple. It's really just starting a scale in a different place. But understanding the concept of modes is incredibly useful because it affects so many aspects of music theory, analysis, composition, and improvisation. And that's just about everything you need to know about modes. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and check the description for more videos. Thanks for watching.